Hi folks, we've got a bit of a special episode today. We are joined by at least one American. So let's just chat to them and see what they say. Let's get to it. So, what's your name and where'd you come from?
My name is Molly, and I am from Alaska.
Okay. Whereabouts in Alaska are you from?
I am from two different areas of Alaska.
Okay.
I have lived in Fairbanks and Juneau, which are very far apart from each other. Fairbanks is extremely dry, and it gets very, 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 very cold in the winter and very hot in the summer. And Juneau is extremely wet.
Okay.
It is very much like England right now.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear.
I keep thinking that, it's very much like Juneau here.
Yeah.
And in the winter, it doesn't get very cold. It kind of gets around freezing.
So what was your biggest shock in, culture shock perhaps, coming to the UK?
I don't know. I'd say that in any place that I travel, the biggest, I guess, shock is just the fact that I don't know anyone and have to, that's the most, kind of thing within me, is because I'm an extrovert and I like people. So whenever I don't know anyone and I can't, just, be myself entirely, it kind of, it hurts me. It hurts my soul.
Okay, but being an extrovert can help when you're traveling, I guess, and
it can.
get to know people. True. Okay,
yeah,
that's good. Okay, so what do you like about England so far?
I don't like how cold it's been.
Okay, well, start off with a negative, but yeah.
Well, yeah. So what I've liked about England, I've liked the people a lot. I've liked how a lot of the old buildings, and I'm in a small town right now, so there's not a whole lot of touristy anything I've seen here.
No. Where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Wolverhampton.
Okay, yeah. And where's that near to?
That's near Birmingham.
Yeah, very well said as well.
Yeah, so they actually told us when we were coming, do not call it Birmingham, call it Birmingham.
Of course.
And so we actually, when we were in training in France, because I went to France before I came here, every time we called it Birmingham, people were like, nope, don't call it that, it's Birmingham.
It's right. It's absolutely correct.
Yep.
Okay. So that's something you've learned then.
Yes,
pretty
it's
quickly.
called Birmingham.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, what do you not like so much?
I'm not a huge fan of how cold it's been. I'm hoping it'll get warmer because I like warmth in the summer.
Yep.
I also, I think one of those questions was about something, I don't know. But
my questions.
Oh, sorry.
You get them when you get them. No.
I know that one thing when it comes to England that I'm just like, is that your guys' sinks. They have two faucets.
Yeah.
And it's just extremely hot or extremely cold.
Faucet's quite a big word. Do you want to explain that in kind of simple English?
What do you guys call it?
Taps, maybe?
Taps.
Do we call it taps?
We call them faucets.
Okay, so do you mean two dials, or I say dials,
well,
two
settings?
settings?
That the water is coming out of.
Yeah, so one for hot and one for cold.
Yeah.
Do you not have that in the States?
No, in America you only have one tap or one faucet for both temperatures, so you can have lukewarm. You know what lukewarm water is?
Yeah. It's not good though.
Sure.
It's not good for anything, you know.
But for washing your hands, you don't want it to be scalding hot.
That's true.
You don't want it to be freezing cold either. You kind of want it to be warm.
You know, I had no idea that we had that difference at all.
You didn't know that?
Nope. To be fair, I've only been to the States, I guess in transit, by going through to a different country, but so I was only in the airport, so I guess I didn't really experience that.
You didn't know that? I think I've seen two faucets only one time in America, and that was in a really old house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's probably just a British thing there, maybe.
I
Although
think it's a British thing.
They had them when I was in Germany as well, which was pretty cool.
Well, when I was in Germany, they didn't have them.
Okay.
But
perhaps not in the public places, but a lot of the houses do.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't really in any houses in Germany.
Yeah, that'll be it then.
So there's
maybe.
that.
So something else about the sinks while we're on that subject. In the States, you don't have a little plastic bowl inside your sink as well. Is that right?
What do you mean?
So in our sink, have you seen we have
like your kitchen sink?
We have a little plastic bowl inside the sink.
Uh-huh.
Have you had that? Do you have that at all?
I do know someone who does put a plastic tub in their sink to wash dishes in, but most people do not.
Okay, it's less of a thing, is it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And the friend that I have that does it so that she doesn't damage the sink.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm not sure why we do it actually, but anyway, we're digressing.
Yeah.
Did you have any preconceptions? I don't know where my accent was going there. Preconceptions before you came here to England, yeah?
I was hoping it'd be warmer than this, mostly because I know that last summer was very, very warm.
It was.
And I know the last summer is not typical, but I was hoping that it'd be really warm, but it so far has not been.
Yeah, apologies.
And I'm trying to think of any other preconceived notions. Yeah, when I packed to come here, again, I didn't expect it to be so cold.
Okay.
And again, people have been saying that it's abnormally cold right now, which I'm hoping is true. I'm hoping it warms up. But I did not bring enough long sleeve shirts or jumpers or whatever you would call them.
Might have to go shopping. Yeah, this would be a jumper. I reckon.
I've actually worn this shirt 3 days in a row now, just
well,
because I
you
only
didn't have to
like...
admit that. No. Is it only a jumper though? That's fine.
No, I have like 2 layers.
Oh, it's all good then.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah.
I just haven't done much in it. It hasn't gotten dirty.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I only have like 3 shirts that are long sleeve.
No worries then. The thing is about the UK, we do get a lot of people thinking it's rainy, and it is, like a lot of the time, but not usually in June.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen anything else so far.
Such a shame for you, but there you go. Hopefully it'll get better soon. Let's see what else we've got here. Do you have any advice for people that might be visiting the UK? Maybe for the first time.
Expect it to be cool, but also prepare for it to possibly be warm. Although I haven't seen that yet, but I've been told it happens.
There are rumors that sometimes it gets warm here.
There are rumors.
Yeah.
Bring a raincoat.
Definitely bring a raincoat.
Also, know that one thing that I've been kind of, I guess, surprised somewhat by is, growing up in America, I've watched BBC, I've watched Harry Potter, I've watched all the British TV shows and everything. But there's still a lot of things that you definitely don't know. Like, I felt like I was like, oh, I know British things. Like, I watch BBC, I watch Harry Potter, I watch all the British things. I know all the terminology. I can understand their accents. No.
Yeah.
You can't understand lots of accents.
So what's one thing that you've learned now being here that you didn't know before?
That you call zucchini courgettes.
That's right.
And that you have this thing called squash that is kind of like what's the word?
Cordial.
I don't know that word.
See, I think you were going for cordial.
No, I was going for concentrated.
Oh, okay.
It's like a concentrated juice that you add water to, but not a specific amount of water, just kind of any amount of water that you want.
It's to taste, really.
Actually, you were the one who explained what squash to me
Yeah,
was.
You had your first squash experience here.
It took you like 5 minutes to describe to me what squash was instead of actually getting it out.
Exactly.
The fridge.
We then eventually thought we'd show a squash, what squash is, because it's like a cup of squash. It's not just like... We don't just say a squash, sorry, yeah. Oh no, get me a squash. Oh yeah, sorry, we do say that.
And see, in America, the only time when people say squash, all they ever I can't think of anything that's squash other than the vegetable squash. You have butternut squash, you have spaghetti squash. There's other types of squash, I just don't know what they're all called. There's several different types.
Was that quite bizarre to you then when we offered you a squash?
You guys kept saying, do you want squash? And I'm like... sure. Why are you offering tea and squash?
That's what we do.
How do those go together? And then after a really long explanation, I realized it was just juice.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, so we've done the advice. Can you sum up your experience so far in just 3 words?
Oh goodness. Can I skip the whole 3 words part? Because I always get annoyed by this.
If you'd like to just sum up your experience so far, then go for it, yeah.
Okay, so I've only been here for a week and a half or 2 weeks. I'm going to continue to be here for another, I think 5.5 weeks at this point. I don't know.
Sounds about right, yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so it's been very cold. I've been working with lots of different people and getting to see things. I'm going to get to go to Oxford and Edinburgh later, so in like a week or 2. So I'll get to see more things. So far, I've mostly just stayed in Wolverhampton. So I've mostly been interacting with people rather than seeing sights. So that's been good. I've enjoyed the people here a lot. This is my first time to Europe where I've been like staying in people's houses and getting to know the British people instead of just being around Americans 24/7. So I've enjoyed that.
Okay, well that's good. There's a lot of people here, so you have to try and get on with it.
It's very condensed people compared to Alaska.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people there for how gigantic the state is. And it's a gigantic state.
It's pretty big. It's pretty huge, eh? So is there anything else at all you'd like to add, maybe that we've missed or that you'd like to talk about
Do you want me to talk more about Alaska? Because I didn't touch on that very much.
You can do, yeah. So we'll go back to Alaska then.
Just because I'm like, all I talked about was the weather briefly.
Yeah, so you're from Fairbanks, right?
Yes. I grew up in a little tiny village not far from Fairbanks.
Okay.
But I always talk about how I basically grew up in Fairbanks.
Because I guess we wouldn't know this small village.
No.
Where is it?
It's about an hour from Fairbanks.
Okay, what's it called?
It's called Nenana.
What?
Nenana.
Nenana. So definitely haven't heard of it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
When I moved to Juneau, which is within the same state, I would tell people I was from Nenana, and everyone thought I was saying Indiana.
Okay.
And so I just stopped telling people because no one knew what I was talking about.
I could understand that. So from Nenana, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Nenana.
N-E-N-E-N-A. That didn't make any sense.
Okay, so I was learning how to spell Mississippi when I was in first grade,
Of
6
course.
years old. And our teacher was telling us it was spelled M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I, M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. So he taught us how to do that with Nenana. He'd be like, N-E-N-A-N-A.
Brilliant. It's obviously not in my head. I haven't heard that before. N-E-N-A-N-E-A.
N-E-N-A-N-A.
Perfect. Nenana, everybody. There you have it. And what is there to do in Nenana? Did I get it?
Not a lot. There's one general store. There is a gas station that we call the A-frame because there's only one gas station, so we have a name.
The gas station.
We call it the A-frame.
It's where you go.
And keep in mind, I haven't lived there in 8, almost 9 years, so this is all stuff from my childhood and early teenage.
They may even have 2 gas stations there by now.
I don't think so.
No?
I really don't think so.
Oh, that's a shame.
There's only like 400 people. They would not add a second gas station.
No, okay.
But yeah, it's a very small town, only one school. I went to one single school. I mean, the coldest I ever experienced there was -68 in Fahrenheit.
Wow.
But only having
Fahrenheit,
one
right. Okay, I don't understand Fahrenheit.
Well, okay, so for just a thing of reference, -40 is the same in Celsius and in Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so -60 is quite cold then.
Yes.
It's below -40 then.
Yes.
Okay.
So that only happened one time. That was when I was 10.
Okay.
And I walked home from school that day.
Really?
Yes.
And you
I lived a block away. It
and
was
you
not
didn't
far.
freeze?
I just put on snow pants and boots and scarf and hat and everything, and I only walked for like 3 minutes. My house is super close.
Well, you survived then.
Yeah.
That's good. And brought you here today.
What did you say?
And that kind of allowed you to be here today.
That's true.
Of
I mean,
course.
I have experienced a lot of some very intense weather. I mean, also growing up there, it would get to, I mean, I don't know if our thermometer was accurate because maybe the sun was shining on it.
So, thank you for being here today.
Yeah.
This has been Molly, the real life Alaskan. Do you want to say bye?
Goodbye, people of the internet.
People of the internet.
People of the internet.
So folks, thank you for watching today's episode of This English Malarkey. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and remember,
You've got this English malarkey.
You've got this English malarkey. That's right. You've got this English malarkey, yeah? Have you got this? Let's get this. Have you got this, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, that's good. We're going to be asking her some real fun questions and finding a little bit more about... I can't even speak English. We're going to be finding a little bit more about... I keep forgetting that word.
You done messed up, man. Do it right.
Today we're going to be finding a little bit more out about Alaska. That doesn't sound right.
Oot a boot if you want to be Canadian.